Today we are going to focus on single leg balance, which is really key for a runner as it's a unilateral sport and you're always working on one leg at a time. So it's important that we have single leg control both in the sagittal plane, so forward and back, the frontal plane, so side to side, and the transverse plane, so rotation. So we're going to start by revisiting our toe spread and working on some lateral stability with that toe spread, and then we'll translate that into our single leg balance. So you're going to start with your feet stacked under your hips and your toes nice and spread. And again, if you're still working on getting a little bit of extra support, you can use your fingers to kind of get that position. And then we want to make sure we have that tripod, so equal pressure on the base of the big toe, base of the little toe, and both sides of the heels on both feet. From here, we're just going to have soft bend in both knees, and we're going to sway back and forth, trying to maintain that tripod position as we change our center of mass. So our base of support stays the same on our feet, but we're changing where our center of mass is, which happens through that stance phase of our stride. So we're going forward and back, and I want you to make sure your toes are staying nice and long and you're not gripping with the toes. As we talked about, that can lead to that over-engagement of the posterior chain, whether that's the plantar fascia or your calves. Now we're going to go side to side. So we're going to not move side to side through our hips, but change that center of mass laterally. So we're trying to move most of our weight to our right and to our left without changing too much of our base of support. So still maintaining that tripod and not rolling onto the sides of our foot. This is really going to translate into that single leg stance. And now maybe try a couple rotations. So moving forward, side, back, side, forward, and switch directions. So again, we're maintaining that foot tripod, that base of support, as we shift our center of mass over it. And then if you really want to get tricky, try a figure eight. And again, we're not rotating through our hips like a hula hoop. We're literally trying to shift our whole body weight over our feet. So you might feel your feet starting to cramp a little bit or get a little bit engaged. And that's what we want. We want that arch firing. Okay, so now we're going to grab onto support. So either grab a broomstick or have a wall close by, because a lot of times when we work on single leg balance, we think about a top down approach. So we stand on one leg and then we try and shift our center of mass over that leg. Instead, we're going to start with a bottoms up approach. So we're going to start with that toe spread, start with that tripod, and then slowly take away that base of support, or minimize that base of support by taking away the other leg. But I still have a bit of support in my upper body so that I can maintain that stack. So I think about elongating through the side of my leg, wrapping that hip around so I'm not coming out to the side. So that's where that lateral stability comes in. So I'm uprighting myself by pressing through the tripod of the foot, not by side bending through my side. So nice upright. And then if I'm able to maintain my tripod, able to maintain my toe spread, able to maintain my hip position, then maybe I can take away the rest of my support. Okay, I'm building up to maybe 20 to 30 seconds and then switching sides. So even if you have good balance, I want you to start with the support and then take it away. So we make sure that the base of support, the foot, is that foundation of the movement versus just wiggling around to find where we can find that center of mass, instead of shifting around to find it, like I can stack my center of mass here, but I'm not in a good mechanical position. So I'm going to start from my foot, spread those toes, find those 3 points of contact for the tripod, slight bend in the knee, lifting up through that hip, wrapping that hip around nice and active, a little bit of a bump squeeze, but we're not gripping, staying nice and upright, ribs stacked over the pelvis, and then slowly can I take the support away. So if I'm using a stick, maybe I take some of the weight off, but the stick is still on the ground. Or if I'm using my hand, maybe I start taking some of my fingers away. So it's not something where the body has to react to. We're just slowly taking away the support. Okay. If you struggle with maintaining that toe spread and your toe wants to come over, then I recommend you do a little bit of a toe twist to get started. So you're going to place your big toe on the ground, maintain that pressure, and then rotate the foot around. You can find that that creates a little bit more activity through that first metatarsal and aligns the toe with the arch of the foot. Okay, so we're placing the toe down and then we're rotating to keep that toe spread, keep that foot in line. Okay, so that's a good way not to use your hands, but to use the contact of the floor to create a little bit more spread in that big toe.